Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Dev Code Camp podcast. I'm your host, Carl Peterson, Dev Code Camp's social media producer. I recently got to sit down with one of our admission rock stars, Meghann Venturini, to discuss the first few steps a potential student takes in their journey through our boot camp. We hope you enjoy Meghann's perspective and details while you get a glimpse behind the scenes of what really defines the Dev Code Camp difference. This is the Dev Code Camp podcast. So when someone fills out a form on the website or just kind of anywhere, right, and they say, I want more information, what happens next?
So when they first come looking for information, they're first going to talk to an admissions representative who's going to see when they're going to be available to jump into an information session. After that information session, they're going to meet with an admissions specialist like myself for a one-on-one meeting where we talk about their interests, their goals, and how we are going to help them reach those goals.
So where exactly do you come into this?
So they might see me in that information session, but otherwise I really come into the picture in that one-on-one meeting. And then I also help them get enrolled before they get started.
Okay, cool. So what type of person are usually in these meetings? Like where are they at in life? Where are they at in their careers?
So that's kind of the exciting part about my job, is because you never really know what you're going to get in your Zoom room. We actually joke a lot that we could write a book with some of the experiences and people that we have met, but they're all across the board. So completely different age groups, some coming right off of high school or college, others in their third or fourth career change, some coming from physically demanding jobs and their bodies can't take it anymore. We work with a lot of veterans or active military that are looking to, start their civilian lives. So really a ton of different people. But another thing that we see a lot of differences is the emotional state. So for those students who are coming right out of high school or college, they're on top of the world, they're excited. But we do also talk to a lot of people who are at rock bottom, whether that's financial rock bottom or coming out of a divorce or, an abusive situation. We do like to be able to help as many people as possible. And the great thing about the tech field is there's really no discrimination here.
Yeah, super exciting. It's a very welcoming industry overall. So you're basically saying there is no certain type of person. It's literally just people, right? That's super
Yep,
fun.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So it's called an information session for a reason. So hopefully they walk away with information more than they had than entering. But specifically, what kind of information, kind of like a high level, obviously, what kind of information do they walk away from, or walk away with rather?
Yeah, so we're definitely going to dive into the specifics of our different types of programs, the type of support that they're going to get. Another thing we really focus on is obviously the Dev Code Camp difference. So there are a ton of boot camps out there. So what separates us from everyone else? But for those who are coming in with completely no knowledge of the tech industry, we touch on, industry highlights, some statistics. We take a look at, what the job market's looking like for now and the future. But Carl, I've been here for about a year now. So since I've been here, we have revamped that information session multiple times. And what we really have changed it over time is to connect with them on an emotional level, because for those who are coming in with no experience, when you start throwing out technical terms like Python, JavaScript, whatever it might be, they get scared and they think they can't do it. And that's not the case. So what we really try to connect with them is let them know that our students are real people. They're, facing the same types of battles and struggles as, them sitting in the information session today. So we just want them to understand that they can do this too. We are going to lead them down the path to be successful, and we're going to support them along the entire journey.
That's really great. Yeah. And it makes sense that if people are joining these, that we talk to them like people, because obviously not everyone is up to par with technical terms and stuff
Right.
yet, give us 12 weeks or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so that's great. So you mentioned you've been here for about a year now. So in that time frame, I know that you've seen people that you have met from these information sessions go through the entire course and graduate and then land careers and change their lives. How does that feel from your perspective?
It's like Christmas morning, honestly. It's truly amazing because you know the time, the effort that these students are putting in to be successful and land that job, because that's the whole goal here, right? But a lot of these students are also juggling full-time schedules or, kids, just everyday life, being a mom, a brother, a grandma, whatever it might be. So, there's a lot on their plate. So when they get to that, part of their journey where they are accepting that job role, you just feel so proud. I feel so proud of my students. I'm so excited for what the future has to hold for them. And like I talked about, as far as those who come to those one-on-one meetings, some of these really need this, and some of these journeys, this is the light at the end of the tunnel for them. So another thing, that when a student gets a job, it's contagious because we want to shout it from the rooftops. We want others to be a part of this and celebrate that with them. So one thing that we do is in Slack, which is our communication portal, we have a general channel, which is all of our students, all of our alumni, all of our employees. So we'll drop a message about that acceptance of the position, and everyone, joins in, they congratulate them. So not only does it make that person who got the job feel amazing, it makes me feel amazing, but also for those students who are just starting out or in the middle of their, program, it gives them that hope that, okay, this is all going to be worth it at the end.
Yeah, for sure. Great answer for one, but secondly, yeah, you mentioned these drops on our Slack community, and obviously it comes on my side of the house too with social media. And I'm not directly speaking to these students normally, throughout the course as closely as a lot of the other people in the company are. And you say it's infectious. It totally is. I don't know these personal backstories or anything like that. But when I get to post it on social media, I'm still like, it's pretty much like Christmas, but I'm sure it's not as exciting probably because I wasn't able to be that, the sideline cheerleader through the entire way. But definitely, totally want to echo exactly what you just said, because even though I'm definitely on the sidelines of a student's journey, I'm still like super thrilled. And I know that that's contagious throughout the company. So I think that was a real hitting the nail on the, or hitting that, what's the saying?
Hitting the nail on the head.
That's what it is. Yeah. I feel like that's exactly that's really accurate. So that's great. So when it comes to you and your day-to-day and your professional life, what motivates you the most, would you say?
There's a couple things. So I'm definitely a very self-motivated person. But one thing that really sticks with me and really impacts me is words, whether I'm reading them or hearing them. So every day when I'm meeting these incredible people and I'm hearing their stories and the battles and the struggles that they've overcome to get here, what they'll have to overcome to join the program, it's really inspiring. But I would also have to add that what motivates me most on a professional level is the peers that I get to work with. You being one of them, Carl, but
top two for sure, probably.
Top two for sure, yeah.
Okay.
Everyone that I work with here is incredibly intelligent, incredibly caring. We're all working towards that same goal, that same mission, to help as many people as possible to change their life for the better. But you can see it, when everyone comes in every single day giving 200%. Everyone just is so passionate about what they do here, and we really are a family. And without even trying, that is just motivation for me every single day.
That's really great. And, honestly, it's also a really good transition into my next question. So recently, we put a quote of yours on social media, and it included the lines, "We are on the student side emotionally, resourcefully, and motivationally. Our students impact our lives just as much as this new journey impacts theirs," which I wanted to speak a little bit about on, because in a way, there's a couple different, in my opinion, overarching goals when it comes to the admissions department.
Right.
And obviously you all play a part in the enrollment process, but the overarching goal to me, it seems to be kind of setting up this super strong support system, literally starting on day one. And as we talked about, leading all the way up to when they get their first job in tech. So with that overarching kind of strong support system, concrete kind of groundwork in place starting on day one, how, in your opinion, how much does that actually affect the success of the Dev Code Camp students?
Oh, it's a huge part of their success. One of the very first things that I do with them in that enrollment meeting, actually on the very first page of the enrollment document, it says Dev Code Camp representative, and then it lists my name. And what I do is I say to them, I say, listen, if you are having a day of doubt, you need to vent, whatever it might be, even if it's a day you want to celebrate, I am here for you from today, before you start classes, once you start classes, once you're with career services, even after you leave, please still reach out to me. But my job is to give you that pep talk when you need it. I am on your side from day one. A lot of our students, not a lot, but some of our students, they don't have a support system outside of us here at Dev Code Camp. So one thing we do make sure we're in that one-on-one meeting is we ask about that. What type of support do they have? Because it is 100% going to impact their success. This type of program or situation, these students are going to go through waves of emotion. A lot of times when they're enrolling weeks or months before they even get started. So what happens in those few weeks in between, life happens, right? They might get into a car accident and think that this financial burden is a reason to not be able to get started. So it's really easy to, make up excuses why they can't do it. So one thing we want to know is if we are that main source of support for them, we want to know that so we can reel them back in, remind them of the why that they came here. All of our students are looking for some sort of a change, whether big or small. So we just remind them of that, because that is the key. One of the keys to being successful here is remembering the whole reason why you got started.
Perfect. Yeah. And I would even say that that's kind of a theme, no matter what part of the journey they're in, if they need help, I think every part of their path, they will have someone to help, whether that's admissions, career services, instructors. So
Absolutely.
that's great. Also, you said something that's also a really good transition into this next question. You're a professional. Are you a professional podcaster on the side, Meghann?
This is my very first podcast.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God.
You're doing fantastic. So, obviously we've talked about, how you play a part, honestly, a rare part, because you meet with these people before anyone else does.
Right.
So can you kind of spot a linking trait, or maybe not even a linking trait? Is there a secret to success of being a Dev Code Camp student, as far as what you've seen from step one up to when they are, professional developers and analysts?
There's a couple things to be in that secret sauce, but one thing that definitely is linked with all of our success stories is, that mentality never to give up. Failing is not an option. Now, you're going to have days where you fail, absolutely, but what do you do when you fail? You need to learn from that mistake, grow from that mistake, because once you leave us, you're going to fail a lot of times after this as well. So what is important that we teach our students is how to continue to learn. So a part of that, though, is communicating to us if they're not understanding, so we can help maybe explain it to them in a different scenario that they might be able to adapt to from their past situations. Or, if they are really understanding this and they're not feeling challenged enough, vice versa, let us know that so we can find a way to challenge you more. So communication is absolutely key to being successful here. But, never giving up. Obviously, this is a program, a situation that you're going to get out what you put in. So if you're putting in the bare minimum, that's what you're going to get out. You're not going to land a job in the first month, 2 months, 3 months right after graduation. But what we do see in our successful students is that they really trusted us. They trusted the journey, and they're putting in 200% the entire process.
That's great. Yeah. Once again, great advice. Meghann, we've actually somehow have flown through this, and we are on the very last question.
Holy cow.
Yeah. So I end a lot of these the exact same way. Because it's kind of an overarching theme of the podcast, but also it's a personal favorite because everyone's answers are a little bit different. And I think they all have value. So I'm excited to hear yours. So without further ado, if somebody was listening or watching this right here, right now, and they were interested in becoming, or even thinking about possibly becoming a Dev Code Camp student or pursuing a career in code or anything and everything, all of the above, what would you say to them?
Well, I would say step into my office or step into my Zoom room. Let's have a conversation. No, but honestly, give yourself the opportunity to make the best possible decision for yourself or for your family. The only way that you're going to do that is to really talk through those barriers, those concerns that you have with an expert like myself. Because what's going to happen is we're going to ask you questions that are going to get you thinking about things that you might not even know the answer to because you don't know anything about it. So when that happens, we're also going to offer you solutions and give you suggestions and things like that. But more than likely we've had a student with the same concerns or the same struggles that they are currently having, and they have been successful in our journey. So, really just believe in yourself, believe in us, our instructors, our program, because we're believing in you and we are going to be on your side, supporting you from day one all the way to the end.
And there it is. Meghann, you're the absolute best. Thank you so much for giving me just a little bit of time today to kind of give insight into what you do and who you are, and also the knowledge you have, which is fantastic, especially in these beginning meetings when people need it the most. So thank you for being on the front lines. Thank you for everything you do. And thank you once again for just a little bit of your time today. It was an absolute blast.
Well, thank you for having me, Carl. This was way less scary than I thought it was going to be.
That's what I always hear. Yeah,
Anytime.
it's usually the case. Yeah. Well, thank you. And everybody
Thanks,
listening,
Carl.
absolutely. Everybody listening, watching, if it's your first time coming by, or if this is your whatever episode, thank you so much for giving us just a little bit of your time too. I'm Carl Peterson, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Thanks so much, Meghann.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, everybody.